And John believed that we needed to have a further adventure in Ireland. This was in his mature years, in his 50s and 60s. He really believed that it was time to welcome Christ back into Ireland. He said, "He called me the Father of these, called me the Father of these." To welcome Christ back in a new way, not if you like the traditional Christ. The Christ that John referred to earlier when he was talking about Jesus going grand hand indeed to the world's car. That image of Jesus going all the way down through all the strata of creation. This was what happened in Gethsemane when he sweated blood. He was there that night and he was going back through all the strata of civilization. All the strata way back to the beginning of creation. Even back before humans ever were on earth. But he was healing it all towards God. And a very important thing, he was also going forward, right to the very end of time. Like in Gethsemane, Jesus was as far as Gaza today, with 38,000 people dead. And how did he heal it towards God? You might almost say, I don't know. I mean, the tragedy that's still going on is unbelievable. But in the end, it'll be all right. There's a medieval mystic called Julian of Norwich, and she says, all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Even if everything is in a mess, at some point it will all be well. In the greater picture, but my God, when you're in the middle of it, that's the dark night of soul. You know, like the people of Gaza, or Ukraine, or Myanmar, or South Sudan, or any of the other places where there's conflict. You know, like, I didn't get emotional when I think of it, like, it's just overwhelming. I mean, who would think that in 2024 we would be having another Holocaust? Anyway, I'm digressing. I was supposed to talk about, but it's not linked in. The Christian monastic history for adults. That was the thing John had intended to found. He had even bought the site for it up the mountains outside Kilgar, on a beautiful place. It would be a kind of a remote place. Each word has equal meaning there. Christian in ethos. The monastic part, John and the core group with him would live a monastic lifestyle. They would have 3 periods of chanting, prayer and meditation each day. Then the high school part was the skull structure, where people would come for a weekend, for a week, for a longer period, for as long as they would feel they needed to, and they would become part of the community, but their stay would be temporary. They would still be learning from it, you know. And actually, I'm just overwhelmed this evening. There's 500 people here in this church this evening. 500 people. And you are creating a skull structure. You are the high school, in reality.
I'm involved with the JMI because I'm deeply inspired by John's work. It has touched my heart and moved my life in ways I never thought books or another person could do. Now, many of you will know about John. He was famously sceptical of any technology. Certainly, he said he'd be uneasy with anything more complicated than a spade. So, your sympathies, please, as I stand here to launch a website. Right. Okay. The idea of the website, growing out of the various previous initiatives that have been set up and run almost entirely by volunteers to put John's work out in the world, is to try and build a community around John's work, his ideas and his legacy, and if possible to spread them to a much wider audience. I'm literally preaching to the converted here. Okay? I think you all know how vital this work is and how it might set the world alight. So those of you who've been on the road for a long time will know that there have been previous sites. In the early days we had great work done by Gary McDarby, who is here and will be here tomorrow, set up and ran the site. More recently we had the Institute site, as Sean has alluded to. Amanda, who you'll hear a lot more from this evening, and deservedly, over the past few years, painstakingly built up a Facebook page that now has over 4,000 members. So through that page, she asked for help in building the site that we're launching tonight, and an Irish-American man named Jim McVeigh answered the call and helped us with the technical side of things by giving generously of his expertise and time. So when you click on the site, the address is simply johnmoriarty.ie. We're delighted to say that John's voice, so distinctive, so memorable, so beloved of so many here, will be the first thing that you encounter on the site.
He too is suffering. He says, I'm not in great shape myself, lads. Can you imagine that? A suffering Jesus. The part of the Gospel of Mark where this young man comes up and he says, I follow the commandments, I do everything that the Holy Book tells me to do. But there's still something missing. What else am I capable of? What should I do next? And Jesus says, leave all you have and come follow me.
That she was nourished by John Moriarty on her journey, and we embarked slowly and not so surely, doing bits and pieces. She encouraged. I would show my art to nobody. It was like asking me to show somebody my art was like asking me to walk naked down the aisle. It was just something I really, really struggled to do, but I got some terrific encouragement along the way. One of the people that was most encouraging about my art was my son Damien, that died, because the two things he was proud of was that his mom could draw nice pictures and he had a famous granduncle called John Moriarty who wrote books. So anytime he wanted to impress one of his friends or he met somebody new, he would send a message, Mom, send some photos on, send some pictures of your art so I can show them to such and such, and tell me what book can they read and where can they hear about John Moriarty. So that's why, and that's the very beginnings of where this book evolved and came from. Moyvane is a very ordinary place, and John Moriarty refers to it as an ordinary place. But the thing is, when John says ordinary, he means something very different to what we normally interpret it as. To John, ordinariness is tremendous. It's as tremendous in a daisy as it is in a galaxy, is what he said. And I was out picking wildflowers for Moriarty's house yesterday, and I was going over ditches picking dock leaves and philostroms, and I could see a neighbour looking at me, and I thought, oh my God, they think I've lost the plot for good, picking these flowers. But you have the bright red of the dock, and you have the bright yellow of the balustrades. And I could only think that John is right, like they were burning with red fire, burning with blue fire, burning with yellow fire. They were as beautiful as anything you get in any florist. So
I'm writing about that, and it's got a lot of positive imagery, because halfway through the writing of it I thought there's a lot of positive imagery in this, I'll keep going and just load it all in. So I was asked to write, I was interviewed about writing songs in Connemara in Carrarua, and she had red hair, the woman, she was a Conneala. They're related to the seals, I was told, only recently. But this song was written, it's not not today or yesterday. I'll give you a quick anyway description so that you know I'm not cursing you. O red-haired virgin of the seals, a spear in the hearts of man, the flame of our temple has been reignited, and the reign of the oppressor is over. The fire of the king woman has been lit, our vision is coming to light, and the songs of possibility are being sweetly sung upon your mouth. And then the second verse is, I'm not reading it, I'm just looking at the thread work here in the day, the gods have been called, the sea have been called, the wise ones of music have been called, and my heart is consistently warmed because the vision of my ancestors is alive. And it is my prayer that those who see the kingdom of what is right on earth are understood. That's it. And go back. Then that's it. There was 2 cups of coffee involved in it, and I wrote it on a keyboard, and the music came, and I just threw the words on top of it. So.
I was getting up to tell you some of what Amanda has already told you. The difficulty I had in actually getting her to put her artwork into this book, but she's admitted it. We had a big struggle. And also, I was going to say that were it not for the fact that Damien was so proud of the work, she would never have done it. And I'm just so, so grateful that she did. Not only for the book, but also for the aspects of the book that I think make it most beautiful and most unusual. And as Amanda said, there are quite a number of things here that Damien would have been, he'd never believed it. He'd never believed Tommy Tiernan had been here first. He wouldn't have believed there was a book in his honour. He wouldn't believe that his mother actually published her artwork. And he wouldn't believe for sure and certain that his former school principal, who had quite a difficult and fraught relationship with the same lad by times, would actually be standing up here and saying it's an absolute honour and a pleasure to be doing what I'm doing. And that would be the one thing that was, you know, we were very close to the end. And I remember the pang of wanting to show it to her, and I knew how much Amanda would have loved to show it to David. And I remember driving to Cork that evening, and because I got the call about Mam, and I was thinking about all of this, and I realised that John is so definitely right when he tells us that everything is absolutely connected. That there's not even the width, he says, of a spider's web between the living and the dead. That they have all gone the soul's way. So in honour of all of this, in honour of John, of Owen, of Damien, and of Mam, I have asked Anne Flavin, a great friend of mine, a woman from Moyvane as well, to come and sing Carry Down for us here tonight.
On carry down, excuse me, sorry. On carry down, the heath is brown, the sky is dark over Aherne, and many's the stream comes rushing down to swell the the moaning blast goes sweeping past through many's a leafless tree, and I'm alone, for he has gone, my hawk has flown, all gone with me. The heath is green on Kerry down, bright shines the sun over Aherne. The light green trees come trembling down to kiss the slumbering Aherne. That happy day, 'twas just last May, his love.
To do. And one of the things that Tommy was mentioning, we can only do it in the smallest of ways, in the silences, in the looking, in the seeing the glory, in the seeing something beautiful, Amanda's dock leaves, those kind of things. Notice and call the beauty in them. But also I think what Father Pat wrote in Forging the Dance, the pieces he quoted from John, where John said that there's a refinement in all of us. There's a great refinement in human beings. And we see it in the slán that's working in the bog, the slán's men working in the bog. If you go to Phyllis Reardon's house, Amanda's mum's house, and you look at the way this turf is stacked in her shed, or if you look at the way she has dug the ridges of potatoes, where there's beauty and there's perfection in what she's doing. If you come into this church and you look at that altar, and the most beautiful carving on the altar behind me here, somebody asked Imogen Stewart to come and do those. Somebody had enough care to want to do something beautiful. And I think that's open to all of us. We can do something beautiful all of the time. And one of the most amazing things that happened in the last couple of months to me and to Amanda is working on this. And I'm not going to thank too many. I was told to come up and do a few thank yous here tonight, but actually we're deeply grateful to all the people who came, everybody who joined us, everybody who gathered in this. But I want to thank the committee. 3 people in particular: William Flaherty, Rita Flaherty, and Ashton Flaherty. Without
exclusion and division. And I think that's reflected in this prayer. And so whatever spiritual tradition you identify with, I'd like to think that you can join in this prayer this evening from your heart. It's a prayer addressed to God through John. John, all your life you knelt and prayed before the dazzling isness of creation, rebelled against the rigidities of our complacent species. You sought to reconnect us with nature and discover the mystery of the divine within our deepest selves. Your bush soul stormed the mighty fortress of reason, taught us that life's longest and hardest journeys from the head to the heart, likened as to seals under the ice who've lost their transcendental breathing holes. Without vision, people perish, you said. Today, our universe is on the cusp of a fresh beginning, and we must be reborn into a new existence before it's too late. Pilgrim brother, now that your journey is over, exile ended, and you have found the Holy Grail, the perfect light hidden in all things, pray for your struggling soul, for your struggling soulmates still on earth, that we too will have the courage and grace to walk barefoot towards the heavenly light. Find that place where like you, we will know we have arrived. Seek to walk beautifully on the earth.
We saw you in person.
It is, yeah. It'd be nice if we could copy that accent, yeah?
Hello. Tell me, can you stop talking
Like we all had one. Okay. Well, we're on the same.